Hey everyone, it's Paul with this week's investment video. This week, I want to talk to you about something that I feel is one of the biggest opportunities that many people are going to miss out, like they did with Bitcoin or with any of the big investments that people constantly cite to you today, whether it be Amazon or Google or Facebook or Netflix or any of these big investments. And today I want to talk about space because to me, this is the investment that I believe is going to define like the next 10 years. Like if you look back in 3 or 4 or 5 years, people say, well, it was so obvious that this was the moment to buy. So in this video, I just want to really lay out the case for space and why I believe it deserves your investment dollar. So the very first picture that I'm going to put up is for a forecast from the Bank of America for the space industry to triple to $1.4 trillion within a decade. And so I know people will be like, well, Paul, a decade's a long time. I really need to make my money a lot faster and sooner. The thing is that big money is always made over time. And if you're looking for a day trade, I've said previously, which is that this is the wrong channel. I mean, we're looking to make big money over time. So it may be possible that for people that are looking for instant money, the space trade is wrong. However, if you're looking for big money, well, space, this is your jam. This is going to be an opportunity that really can generate extraordinary returns before even like the events happen, sort of like the way Tesla happened. In other words, Tesla got to be a large company even before it really became a very large maker of cars. And that's because of the way the markets work. Markets anticipate. And you can already see this in space, where SpaceX, which is the leader of Space 2.0, if you will, SpaceX is already bigger than the vast majority of existing companies. So look at this chart. You'll see that Boeing is the largest sort of aerospace and defense company in the world at about 165 billion. And then SpaceX is right there at 74 billion. So this is a company that most people really don't even really know. And yet, because of the growth prospects of space, this has already become a $74 billion company, in my opinion, setting up to go higher. So one of the other things that is a big misunderstanding with space is people looking at the space opportunity and looking backwards. In other words, people look at what we currently do. In other words, we send most rockets to deliver satellites to orbit around the Earth. Here and there, we're sending sort of spaceships to go and explore outer space, where we go and look at other planets. However, the vast majority of what we're doing today really is pretty simple and is related to sort of like what we started out in the 1960s, satellites, the moon, things like that. And that opportunity is really what you tend to see captured when you see statistics that are put out. For example, this comes from Statista. It says that the turnover of the global space economy is $423 billion. The total revenue is $271 billion. So if you're computing numbers from there, well, then, space doesn't seem like such an exciting opportunity. However, the true opportunity is really in Space 2.0. And I found a great definition for it really in this article from the Harvard Business Review. And it says that the commercial space age is here. And if you go and you actually go and look at this particular snippet, and in this article, they talk about the space for space economy. And this space for space economy was the original promise that really caused people to be so excited for it in the 1960s when we sent people to the moon and we had a number of missions go there, which is really of a huge, massive opportunity. And as this article says, that it was based on research commissioned by NASA, which predicted the rise of a space-based economy that would supply the demands of hundreds and then thousands and then eventually millions of human beings living in space, dwarfing the space for Earth economy. In other words, the satellite stuff, and even like the more crazy stuff of people talking about mining asteroids for minerals and stuff like that. We're talking about an entirely new way of living, an entirely new system, sort of like a greenfield opportunity, sort of like when people first started to travel using ships and coming to new continents and creating new economies and new countries. That's the scale of what we're talking about. And the NASA prediction was that the space-based economy was going to be bigger than all of the Earth's economies. And I still believe that that is true. And that is where we're going. And the markets will start to price that well ahead of it actually coming to pass, just like they did with Tesla, and they do with all of these investments that people have experienced huge success with. So space, I believe, is the signature really investment that you can make today to make big money. And if you're interested to see my promotional presentation on it, where I talk about it, talk about the economics that underpin it, where we're going, how Mars is acting as like this goal using SpaceX as the primary company of the Space 2.0 opportunities. And then we talk about the company that we have found that really is the beginnings of this space for space economy unfolding. If you're interested to watch that, well, click on that strong hands icon sitting in the corner, and that's going to send you to a presentation on space that I have done in my Occupy Mars hoodie. So go check that out. And then if you want to just get an ETF, well, you can check into Kathy Wood's ARK Invest Space ETF. I believe the ticker symbol is ARKX, so you can check into that. So that's the investment video for this week. Space. This is the investment opportunity of the current period that people, I believe, are going to look back and say, oh, that was obvious. I should have done it when Branson went to space and Bezos went into space and I sat there. So check my presentation out, check into the space opportunity, and you can get access to it through Profits Unlimited, which is our flagship portfolio, which if you watch the promotional presentation, that's what it invites you to do. All right, I'll have another one of these videos for you next week. Until then, this is Paul saying bye.